Hello and welcome to SDN Tech Forum. In this earlier video, you saw AWS IAM 101, where we discuss how to define a user, define your policy, and how you can tie them together using user group and policies, right? Today in this topic, or in this video, we are going to talk about advanced topic called IAM roles, and I'll give you a short demo. IAM roles are a secure way to grant permission to entities that you trust to access AWS resources. So it's again just like user permissions, but it's more of a secure way to grant anything who you trust so that they can access your AWS resources. The users or entities in their designated role you can enforce principle of least privilege. So you can start with minimum privilege and build on top of that. Examples who can use IAM roles. IAM users in another account, another AWS account, an application running on EC2 instance that need access to certain AWS resources, or vice versa. So it's like machine to machine communication. If you want to grant permission, you need to have a EC2 role for them. Users from corporate directory who uses identity federation with SAML. So if you are integrating your Active Directory using SAML, you can assign each user who is present within Active Directory, you can create a role for them. And also for OpenID Connect or social authentication login. The main point, so these are the options available, but the main point is you can securely grant users authenticated outside of AWS the IAM permission to access your AWS resource, right? I hope you got the idea. And now we will go into demo. There are like 4-step process again. First, you create an EC2 role. Then you attach a policy. You can use, you can define a policy, or you can use existing policy managed by AWS. And once you attach this policy with the role, then finally we have to go. We can go and attach this role to the entity. In the demo, I'm going to attach the role to a EC2 instance, but most of the time you will see if you are doing DevOps, your AWS Lambda will definitely need roles so that it has the right permission to access the AWS resources for you. And finally, we will do a validation. Right. So let's go to, all right, let's go to demo then. We'll go to AWS services. From services, pick IAM. Okay, this is my IAM dashboard, and we are interested to create a new role. For demo, what we are going to do, we are going to create a role which we can assign to a EC2 instance. So using that role, uh, we can connect to our EC2, right? So let's talk about the use case. What we can do, we can, here is one of my instance, and let me go back to instance, EC2 dashboard. We have one instance running. Let's expand this, and if I try to say connect, and there are several ways we can connect. You have seen me connecting SSH client using public and private key, but we can also connect using session manager. But when I try to come here and try to connect with session manager option, it is telling me that SSM agent is not installed, or the required IAM instance profile is not attached, right? So we know SSM agent is installed for sure because we are using Amazon Linux AMI. So this is probably the option number 2, which is not complete. So what is IAM instance profile? If you go to the link, you will see here that if you want to use the connect option for Amazon EC2 instances, we have to create an IAM instance profile and attach to that instance. So we have that profile is missing, and we are going to create that profile by using creating a appropriate role. So let's go back to IAM and try to create a role. This is some prerequisite role or pre-existing role we have want to create a new one for our demo. So let's create new role. Select trusted entity type. We want a AWS service, allow AWS service like EC2, Lambda or other to perform action in this account. Yes, that's what we want. And also you have to select use case. So AWS roles, as I mentioned, um, most commonly they are used by EC2 or your Lambda function. So that Lambda can call several AWS resources on your behalf by having appropriate authorization. But for our demo, we are going to use EC2. So select EC2, say next, and here you can see the permission policy. So we have to attach a permission. We have trusted entity defined. Now we are attaching a permissions. Here you can see we have several policies configured, and some of them are depicted as a orange box. That means they are AWS manage service policy type. Hence you can see AWS manage. So any kind of like a syntax change or policy upgrade, everything is managed by AWS. You can also see S3 permission for EC2. This is a customer manage and there is no orange queue associated to that. This is a custom policy created by me during a S3 demo, right? So let's go ahead and create a custom policy. Uh, well, we don't want custom policy. Let's see if we have something pre-existing. So let's search with SSM. SSM is old name for AWS system manager. That's why in a lot of policy they are still referred as SSM. Amazon EC2 role for SSM. This is what we want. And if you click on that, you can expand it and you can see the permissions associated with this policy. Okay, so we have SSM system manager list read write permission, EC2 list permission, policy uses, and policy version, access advisor. These are the few knobs already available, just like user permissions. All right, so let's go back and select this policy because this is the policy we want to attach. Again, you have to go to the workflow and click next, define a role name, enter a meaningful, okay, so this is EC2, EC2 connect, and policy looks good. We don't want to add any tag here, and let's go ahead and create the role. Okay, you can see EC2 role is already connected. All right, so we have the role with the right permission created. The final thing what we want to do is attach this role. So how we can attach this role? We have to attach this role to our EC2 instance. Select that instance, come to action. Within action, we have to modify. Okay, let me find that option for you. But for me, image, monitor, troubleshoot. Okay, instance state, action, manage instance state, interface setting. And there is an option where you can actually go ahead and attach this rule. Okay, this has to be a running instance. I can see this is a running instance. Networking, attach network, security, modify IAM role. Yes, so this is security. We created a new role, EC2 connect, and update it. EC2 dashboard. This is complete. So now let's go to that instance and you can actually come back here and check what is the IAM role associated. So EC2 role is associated. Okay, now so we have role attached to EC2 policy. Let's try to go back and validate this. A word of advice: when you try to first connect, come to session manager, you may see this connect button is grayed out, right? So give it a solid 20-30 minutes after attaching the role to your EC2 instance and then come back and try to validate because it takes some time to come into effect. All right. So we meet all the criterias action to connect to session manager. Now let hit connect. And as you can see, I'm connected to the instance. One more thing I want to show you, if I happen to type who am I, you can see I am connected as SSM user, not EC2 user, right? Because this is a different connection via system manager. And we will talk about system manager more in separate video. But for now, we just wanted to understand how roles can help you to give you secure access to AWS resources, right? Uh, Also, if you happen to check how your Amazon SSM agent is, whether it's installed or what is the version, you can use the command yaminfo Amazon SSM agent, and it says loaded, and my version is 3.1. So we are good. You saw me how to create a IAM role, how to attach an IAM role to EC2 instance, and then how you can use that role to access your resources. So I hope it gives you a confidence with how to work with roles. We will be using roles heavily when we start building our project or final product. So stay tuned. I hope you're enjoying the coursework.